What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a title that I've had on my wish list for a little while that's finally got a demo out from Hooded Horse and the people over at Balancing Monkey. This is a title called Beyond These Stars. I don't really know a whole lot about it, except that it's got some really impressive screenshots on the Steam page, which is why I wish listed it like all that time ago. This is a game where you're building a colony, like a city, on the back of a giant whale that's flying through space. So we're going to check it on out. That premise seems pretty good. The link is down below in the description just in case you wanted to check it out for yourself. The demo that I'm playing right now will be up next week as part of the Steam Next Festival. You'll also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream just in case you wanted to hang out live. But let's go ahead and dive on in before I waste any more of our limited time talking about the beginning of the game. Love that artwork right there. It's really good looking.
Once, we traveled the stars. We saw things that brought us joy. We made discoveries that kept us hungry for more. But some of those discoveries were hungry for us. They were forever feeding but never satisfied. So we descended into deep bunkers, saying farewell to the open sky. And over quiet centuries, we forgot so many things. But we returned. We reignited our old hunger to discover and rebuilt what was lost. But the insatiable hunger also returned. It felt hopeless to be pursued by such creatures. Until the day one stopped and observed us, like we once observed them. We were sick of hiding, so a brave few followed their curiosity. What wonders lie beyond these stars?
It's a good little actuation animation right there. I liked it. We made it. We're really on the back of a space whale. This is going to aid my research greatly. Before we start building our outpost and start researching the whale, let's check our surroundings to make sure that it's safe so that the others can land here too. I mean, I guess if you can't beat them, join them. How far out can I zoom out? I think we're safe, but I could be wrong. Don't be so paranoid. Of course we're safe. The space whale would have eaten us ages ago if it wanted to. Thanks for the reminder. According to my calculations, there's only a 20% chance that this particular space whale will behave antisocially. Let's change the... well, what you got to do is you got to introduce the internet to the space whale. That's how you get 100% toxicity. I'm just saying, if we wanted to make it as awful as possible, just, like, introduce it to the concept of the internet and communicating with its peers via anonymity. That's all I'm saying. Whoa. I have a list. First off, before we start building, we need roads. Then we'll build huts for shelter. Potato patches for food and a water pump on the river's edge. Perhaps we can investigate that strange golden object over there, too. Maybe later. We gotta build the outpost first. I wanted to see how far out I could zoom out. So we can kind of, like, rotate around the whale, but I can't go look at its tummy or anything. Alright, so we've got buildings down at the bottom. It wants me to do that kind of stuff. So it wanted me to put in 6 roads. Yeah, let's start doing a little bit of planning. I guess a road could go kind of like right there-ish. That looks okay to me. That's only going to be 5 out of our 6, though. We got to decide where our other highway is going to go. Let's maybe put it... yeah, that looks okay to me. That works. Next up, we need 4 huts. Alright, well, I don't want to, like, use up all of my equitable space here. I'm going to try to build intelligently, I suppose. I don't really care what facing all these houses have. But with the 4 huts, I actually wanted to have a road run up this way too so that we could maximize the usage of our space. There we go. We got another one right there. We'll put that house in right there. And it looks like we do have some incremental building going on. That's a checkaroonies. I like it when the little guys go out and they actually like build stuff up. I've mentioned this in a couple videos in the past, but I don't like it when you just stamp out buildings and they just like magically appear. Activate the home spaceship building card. There's our home spaceship right there. We need potato patches and we need a water pump. All right, let's get this water pump on in here. Is that like the best spot for it? Does it need to have, if it has like better contact with the water, does it do better? Let's find out. I'll put a road right there real fast so that it's more submerged. There we go. Water pump is all nice and taken care of. And now we got to put some dirters out here. I'll probably just get wild with the dirters on this side, dude. Get some French fries, some other goodies rocking around out of the potatoes. There we go. We got some potatoes. We got some potatoes, and it won't let me do another one. But the 2 patches and the pump should be done very, very shortly. Looks like tater patches are done, so that's good. And it actually doesn't look like we have to mind any workers or anything else like that. I had thought for sure that it would have subtracted workers or something when we got those buildings done. Basics are set up. Good. I'm running out of energy. Doing everything by hand takes forever. Can I radio the others yet? I'd love their tools and tech right now. Soon. There's still some peeps on the home spaceship that need to disembark. Okay, you're right. I haven't finished everything on the list yet either. Let's see. We really need more tools. That means getting more wood and iron. Well, there's plenty of ore here. We just need a way to access it. That means doing some mining, my favorite. We're going to need a way to smelt that ore, too. All right, well, back to work we go. Before you go, though, do you think the space whale knows that we're here? Seems plausible. What was that? Sorry, that was me. I dropped my hammer. Okay, so now we're starting to do, like, principal gathering of things that we need to have. I'll probably put the woodcutter set back over this way, and it looks like it contextually changes the face of the building in order to attach to the road. I know some people really dislike road-based builders, but this one's a road-based builder. But at least you do get some wiggle room when it comes to the facing of your buildings just by contextually swinging the mouse around. So that's good. All right, woodcutter's all nice and down, and so we need to get 5 wood from a woodcutter in order to access the mine. And it looks like in this case it actually did deduct a worker or something, or maybe they just work at open buildings as they see fit. Like, I don't really see I don't see an unemployed stat or anything anywhere around, so I actually don't fully know exactly how it works. Maybe they just fill in for jobs as they're ready to go. They're gathering stone from over here, and the little hexes actually get smaller. It looks like they shrink down into the ground as they get harvested. Mine's all ready to rock, so let's make this mine mine. I think we'll just probably put it right there, just nestled against that little cleft because it looks nice. Yeah, it looks like people just fill in. I'm kind of like observing, and this guy dropped what he was doing to come back over here and help assemble this, and then it looked like the second that the logistical queue was filled up, he came back around and started chopping trees again. So I think people just like fill in for jobs that are open, and we don't really have, well, never mind, we got empty work slots up here. That's kind of like unemployed. I thought it was going to be men and women from the little icons. I don't know, I had bathrooms on the brain, but it looks like empty work slots right there. So that's how you know you've got to bring in more people, is when you've got empty work slots. This game does it from the opposite end. So most games have how many unemployed people you have, and then when you stamp out the building, this number goes down. This right here does it the opposite way, where as work spots open up due to logistical inefficiency, that's how you know you need to bring in more immigrants, because jobs aren't getting done. All right, fair enough. So we've got our iron mine. They want us to do a stone mine now, so I'll consider that. We also probably need an ore smelter before too long. I will likely have the stone mine just kind of be over here. Yeah, drop that bad boy in there. We're probably going to have inefficiencies, though, by the time we get done, because I saw it flickering a little bit when it came to... So where does the smelter need to be? What is that aura around there? It's got a slag byproduct. I guess I'll just put it right there. I didn't know if the radius was like an unhappiness radius or something, because that tends to happen in these sort of little Anno-style games. Oh, there's like little doors and things that they can walk through, too. They can go through the front and come out the back. So they've got separate little doors right there, and it all actuates. Cool. Are the houses randomized at all, or do they all look identical? They all look identical, as far as I can tell. Okay. I tend to like it when my buildings are a little bit different each time I stamp them out. Like they've got a procedural element, like the windows move around, or like the chimney's in a different spot, or sometimes it has an overhang on the side or something like that. But it's not that big of a deal. Everything in this game has such a good appearance to it. Some buildings like the ore smelter process multiple resources. Multi-process buildings only run one task at a time. Okay, we'll just get the iron going, dude. There it is. Now they're starting to fire it off. So it looks like, is that labor right there? That's power. Okay, so if we're fully powered, it looks like we can do something different with this on the flowchart right here, unless this is supplying power. It is. It's supplying a unit of power. Okay, I was just trying to make sure what my inputs and my outputs are actively looking like right now. We do have our tool smelter available, and I think it's probably not the worst idea on Earth to get that rocking right there. I'll probably put another secondary road running over there too, just for efficiency's sake. I always enjoy road planning in games like this. I don't know why. I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but I really, really enjoy designing roads in games like this that allow you to build buildings alongside them. There's just something zen about making a very, very nice sort of designated municipal grid. I don't know, maybe I was a born city planner. Our little outpost is bustling. I believe we're ready to report the initial findings of the research mission back to the peeps at home. And we can let the others know that it's safe to land. Awesome. I'm going to get back in the spaceship and radio home. This is Peep Crew reporting from SWS. We are safe and, is this thing busted? There's no signal. I'll try again. Hello, can you... Oh no, dude, and we didn't even put the Geller field up. Oh no. The space whale's moving. How do we get it to turn around? I don't think it's possible. I know this is terrifying, but you know how to fix this, right? Right? Not quite. I'd like to remind you that we both knew something unexpected might happen after we landed. This isn't unexpected. This is an absolute disaster. Our whole plan is gone in less than an instant. We're probably light years away from home already, and where are we even going? I don't know, but we have everything we need to survive. How can you be so sure? We never done this whole live on the back of a beast who has eaten our planets and our people thing before. Wait, let's calm down. Panicking isn't going to help us. That's true. Sorry for, it's okay. I'm scared too. On the bright side, our research mission includes a healthy dose of adventure now. I wonder if we'll finally locate the other peep settlements, if they survive the old times. All right, well, let's focus on helping the stragglers disembark from the home spaceship before we think about that. Also, don't tell anybody. I feel like we should keep them all in the dark. We don't want a very real Lord of the Flies situation unfolding here, okay? Like, I feel like human beings are naturally predisposed towards awful behavior when things are falling apart, looting, mayhem, that kind of stuff. So let's just, maybe nip that in the bud and just sort of avoid that entire unfortunate outcome, yeah? So I've got 7 more houses queued up. I'd like to keep this area clear for more farming, I think. I'm going to sort of keep things centrally planned so that we have these sort of districts and areas that are organized and neat and clean and easy to interact with. So it's looking to me like we may indeed have some kind of bug. Basically, if a building can't be completed, all of my minions are now just idling inside the buildings, not doing anything. And so that means I need to keep a count on how many houses I can actually afford to build up here. Otherwise, they're going to get locked into perpetually trying to build the building without the resource inputs. So that's going to be the first thing that we've noticed that I think is a little bit rough. I sat here with it on X3 time for a second, just trying to wait and see if they would actually free themselves from the house that they're operating inside of, but it didn't happen. Wood chopping is taking a good long while, so I'm thinking I'll probably slap in another woodcutter, but that's on a different layer, and I wasn't watching closely enough to figure out whether or not they could transition through layers without stairs available. But we'll put another one over here. We'll kind of keep this industrial down here. We'll keep this sort of residential out this way, and then from there we'll keep this kind of agriculture focused on this side. I can make sawmills now. Hooray for me. Now that we have right about 24 wood, I should be able to stamp out the rest of these houses and keep them all ready to rock. So we'll just start out brief with like 4 of them over here to make sure that I don't go over my cap, because it doesn't actively update the number you have as you're stamping out buildings. And so we've got to wait for them to actually move all the stuff, I think. Yeah, we've got to actively wait for them to move all the stuff. I was just testing it real fast. It looks like it adjusts after a little bit, but we're going to have to wait until the construction is complete to actually know exactly how many of these houses we have. Just need 2 more houses, and I think we have the stuff for that. So let's go ahead and get those mashed out real quick. I don't like admitting this, but I'm kind of stumped on what to do next. I think the anxiety is beginning to get to me. Me too. At least this light tunnel thing is pretty to look at. Actually, the back of the space whale is really beautiful, ain't it? I guess. Sorry to interrupt, but I've been talking with the others. Almost everybody seems to think we're stuck here. I tried to cheer everybody up, but I think I'm better at researching than reassuring. I'm sure you did fine. You're the wisest one here. We should lean into the other thing that we're good at, turning this little outpost into a town. Finally, something to do. I want better construction materials like planks. Indeed. Let's build warehouses and stockpiles as well. It says we got 20 more guys, but I don't see 20 more guys running around out here on the landscape. Maybe it just takes them a minute to spin up, but it still feels like we're working with like 9 or 10 people. I expected a whole bunch of people to shuffle out of the shuttle. Unfortunately, we're not very good at shuttle shuffling at the moment, so we'll just make, well, it looks like maybe things are clearing up. Now we've got 28. Okay, so I'm going to have to build some more houses before too long. On the plus side, that means I can get back to processing things as well, because we shouldn't have like workflow problems now that our, I think, active amount of people we have available is like doubled or at least increased by quite a lot. Looks like we may need to get ahead of the curve here too and do another spud field or two. Doubling or tripling the food supply does feel wise now that we've doubled or tripled our population. Feels like it'll work out better for us. Let's go ahead and run a road out that way, too, so that we can make use of some of this ground. That'll take care of our food supply, I think, if we have 4 of these guys running right here, because it doesn't look like they need any material maintenance. It looks like they just produce food around the clock, solely limited by who's able to go grab it and bring it back to the warehouse right now. From there, we may need further water pumps, though, as well. I don't know if water pumps can be adjacent to one another. Let's throw one in right there. And we'll throw one in right there. What are these water pumps costing me, by the way? Okay, they're just taking refined iron and a little bit of default wood. Sounds good. And it looks like we're now recovering. The game gives you this convenient little resources menu that you can take a look at real fast that gives you a trending symbol on it. I don't think we have like statistical regressions or like a line graph or anything else, which I usually prefer. Maybe we'll get access to that later, though, with better technology. So we've already produced the 5 tools. Now it wants me to get a warehouse. All kinds of things can be stored here, and we can configure the allocation. That's good. Oh, it fits right there. Well, if it fits, just like that, the warehouse is erected. I like the sense of verticality on a lot of the map, too. The game's got like a nice depth to it. Not in terms of gameplay mechanics, but in terms of height of the geography and the way the buildings jut out into it. And so I think I can live with that. You store 10 unique resources and 320 total. You can individually set how much you would like to store in the info card. Okay. Let's set up what we can and can't do over here. So I'd like water to be stored inside of there, potatoes to be stored inside of there. Let's call that like 60 potatoes, 60 water. From there, we probably want our tools in and out of the cold. We probably want to put metal inside. Maybe not metal inside of there. Maybe stone and wood, I guess. And then we've just got to get this up to cap. So let's take that up to there. We'll call it 60 stone that we'll allocate on that side. And that leaves me enough for one more resource that can be stored up to 60. I guess just throw the ore in there. Cool. That should be our way of getting it done. I already did the water. Oh, I did it preemptively. Huh. Unfortunately. I guess we'll be like super future-proofed, I suppose. Hit me with some more spuddy boys. Let's do it. And then I'll throw in just an extra water pump down here by the river. There we go. Put it right next to somebody's house. Probably not great for property values, but it does guarantee that the toilets flush, which I think is integral to any real long-term functioning society. Just make the toilets flush, man. And now we're banging out a sawmill because obviously we're doing all those things you tend to do in a game like this. I don't know where I want the sawmill to be. I guess it can be across the street from over there. It feels like it'd be easier if I could weasel it in over here somewhere, though. I don't think I can. I suppose we can put it by the warehouse then. Which way is that facing, though? Right there? Alright, that works. We'll put it in our little industrial sector. The game's got a nice roundness to it, too. I like the curvature of the map. I think that's what makes the verticality pop, in all honesty. I don't know if that was an intentional decision, but it seems to be working copacetically with the actual aesthetic design that the game is going for, which I like. Lumber mill's up. So there we go. We are now sawmilling. Are we coming out of the warp? Does anybody have any extra digits? Purple eyeballs sprouting from their nipples? Like, has everybody checked all of their bits and pieces to make sure that we're not corrupted by the forces of chaos? Space whale stopped. None of the stars look familiar to me. Wish you hadn't said that. Remember that we have everything we need right here, and the space whale has not been hostile towards us. It's my turn to interrupt. Our faithful old home spaceship is struggling to keep up with power needs. We're going to need a burner generator to get more power, and a dump for all the yuck byproducts, too. Okay, the pollution is going to be so good for us. Will pollution harm the whale? That's going to be like the hook, right? Our 5 planks just got done, so we should be good to keep on cruising down the tech tree. We've got a burner generator over here. Okay. So 4 empty tiles. 8 Oh, okay. So you've actually got to kind of carefully place this stuff, too. Like, you can't just road it up. It needs to have the proper amount of empty tiles around it, otherwise it gets cranky. Okay, put the burner over here, I guess. It'll give the potatoes a nice smoky flavor. We'll call it mesquite. The dump in and of itself can probably be nestled over here on the edges of town. Or I guess we could put it on that side. Let's go ahead and put the dump over here, like isolated from everything else. Hopefully, see, normally for the placement of a dump, we would have to do, as a geologist, we would have to figure out where the groundwater runs to, because you don't want things seeping into the topsoil and down through substrates and then getting into the overall water supply, thus being pumped up over to here and then slowly poisoning everybody with like mercury and, you know, with lead and carcinogens and all that kind of stuff. But because it's a video game, we don't have to worry about that. Either that or we're sort of like this authoritarian run where we don't care if it affects everybody. I do sort of wish there was a big, long panel that told me every resource I have, though. It may exist, but since we're playing, like, the demo of something that's not even out, like, we do have, like, some buttons over here. I guess maybe I can customize it. How many of these things? Oh, is that just for the graph, or does that affect something out here, too? I was going to say, I wish there's, like, a... Can I move this? See, I wish there was a long panel right here that listed every single resource, just an icon and a number that runs down the side. I tend to have that kind of... I like the RimWorld style of doing things, okay? I like how RimWorld does it. Tyne and Sylvester knocked it out of the park with that guy with that game's UI. Just a really fantastically well-designed UI. They also want me to build, I guess, beautification projects around here. So we've got meadows. I suppose we could do that. Let's put a meadow over there. And then maybe like a little meadow right there. What does the meadow actively do? Do these guys have like a happiness quotient that we're trying, or quotient? Let's see. Place for peep. What does this actually do, the little meadow? A refreshing patch of grass for your idle peeps to visit. They get a small amount of extra happiness per second while they relax here. Okay. Do we have like an overall mood meter or anything around that would sort of signal to us as a player that, hey, we're having a catastrophic depression collapse? I don't see anything with a smiley face on it. We're starting to get to the point, though, where we're having empty work slots, which worries me a tiny bit. I don't like having work slots that aren't being fully exploited. Yeah, do that right there. That looks good. I like that little bend right there. It breaks apart the straight lines that we've been shooting the entire time. And I guess I'll put in a little park bench over here just so people can be happy. Oh, I needed that to cut out further. Can I bulldoze these roads? I don't need it to go right there. I messed this up a little bit. So given the way the game looks, Well, I suppose we could actually just connect it right here, I guess. Is there something in the way right there? I guess it doesn't like that angle. I was going to connect it right there to give us a little bit more floor space. Just reconnect it. It's fine. We'll figure it out as we go. I don't want to spend too much time just kind of like reconfiguring roads and whatnot. Now we have 4 workplaces that are unsatisfied. I don't know if building more houses will ultimately bring in pips faster. But go ahead and mash out some houses for me. I've discovered something. Why are you yelling? What's wrong? Remember that strange metal structure I saw before? It's emitting an odd humming sound. Show me. Slow down for a second. It could be dangerous. Seems like a very old transmitter of some kind. I wonder if this is what caused our radio to malfunction. That would be a possibility. I wonder if this mysterious transmitter in our radio... You're right. Let's refurbish it. It's so alien, though. That's not what I was going to say, but all right. I know you're going to do it anyways. So, if it is indeed a transmitter, won't it need electronics? Yeah, thank you. It will. I'm not really sure how we can get electronics here, though. How do we do it back at home? We'll need a few things first, I think, like a mine for sand. We'll need a metal smelter for steel and glass. A whole bunch of other little things that they can line up. I'm kind of wondering if at some point we get to steer the whale and decide actively where we want to go. I love that effect on the clouds right there where they go away in order to not block the player's view, but they give you like a nice scenery when they're outside of that initial radius. That looks really good. Yeah, this is Beyond These Stars. Just the first 30 minutes of the demo or so you guys can check it out. Only that one minor mishap with the guys that got stuck trying to build the houses. I'm interested in diving deeper on into it and seeing if there's any kind of like conflict that comes up. It looks like we've got a galaxy map right here, so I'm guessing we're actually going to be piloting the whale once we get the transmitter, and then from there there's going to be little interactables on various planets. I'm wondering if we have to feed him too, because they said that he eats planets, right? So are we going to have to make tough decisions in the future about what planets and what civilizations he eats? Oh, the possibilities. But I'll leave this one up so you guys can check it out on the Steam Next Fest without having all the information spoiled. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were fooling around with Beyond These Stars. Tomorrow we'll be fooling around with something else. First impressions of the first 40 minutes of the game or so are positive right now. It's a little laid back for me, but it seems like I bet you there's going to be twists along the way. Because they went out of their way to mention that these whales eat planets and whatnot. And so I'm sort of curious what they're going to do with that once we have control of the whale. I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for hanging out. And that's about all I got for you. Bye, folks.